State vigils happening tonight as communities come together to pray and honor the lives lost. You can see a packed gym as people pay their respects in Minneapolis. At the Academy of Holy Angels High School, lines around the building as residents make their way inside to offer support during the service. Well, here in the Northland, Duluth's Catholic community is also coming together. Northern News Now's Ryan Hayes was outside special holy hour at the Cathedral of Stella Maris and heard from those who are praying and mourning the victims.
In the wake of the tragic shooting at a Catholic church in Minneapolis Wednesday morning, parents of students at Stella Maris tell me it's their faith that will get them through as the Catholic community mourns this senseless tragedy.
I just started to cry. Cried for the families. I cried for the students. What a horrible thing to witness.
Andrea Lays has two 7th graders and a kindergartner at Stella Maris. She was astonished by Wednesday morning's violence and says having the conversation with her kids has not been easy.
I'm approaching it with honesty, with compassion, trying to understand where they're coming from, and with faith.
Stella Maris united in faith Wednesday by hosting a holy hour, giving Lays and the rest of the Twin Ports community the chance to mourn and pray in the comfort of their faith.
It's really important to grieve together as a community, to show support for each other, and to offer prayers for those that we've lost.
Stephanie Umez says she was compelled to come to the church to pray for the lives lost.
Praying for the families for sure, and the souls of the kids that we lost today. Just praying that their souls are with God.
Lays says despite this horrific tragedy, her trust in Stella Maris and her faith in God remains steadfast.
Our children are in an environment where they are well loved by all of the staff and faculty here at Stella Maris, and I'm confident that the Lord will keep them safe.
The Catholic community coming together in prayer at a time they need it most. In Duluth, Ryan Hayes, Northern News Now.
Ryan, thank you. Tonight, Stella Maris Academy leaders say Catholic schools are more than just classrooms. They're places where children are loved, families rooted in community, and where people gather. They go on to say that to see such sacred spaces struck by violence is beyond heartbreaking. School President Andrew Hilker also says we must not allow fear to overshadow the joy, hope, and excitement that a new school year brings. If you'd like to support the victims, the Minneapolis Foundation has established a text to donate line. The public can text ACF1 to 41444, as you see right there on your screen. The foundation will work with the Annunciation community to distribute the funds to the victims.